There is a different silence happening now. At this very instant your eyes have met this message. A silence that is not empty. It is a charged, heavy, living silence. And in the midst of it, I need to tell you a truth that few have the courage to deliver. Archangel Michael is weeping for you. It is not a human cry, it is a cry of light, a lament that traverses the dimensions and strikes exactly at the center of your chest. He weeps because he sees a precious soul, your soul, about to give up on the very eve of the breakthrough. You have spent months, perhaps years, asking, begging, imploring for something to change in your life. You have said prayers before sleep, lit candles, fasted, read books, watched videos, listened to mantras. And yet, the feeling is that you are standing in the same place. The bills arrive, the relationship grows cold, the work exhausts you, the health of those you love tightens your heart, and the night finds you asking if the universe truly listens. I need you to take a deep breath before continuing, because what I am about to tell you now can break a spiritual chain that has been locked in your life for a long time. You do not attract what you ask for. You attract what you feel you already are. This is feeling is the secret. This is the ancient teaching that the mystics whispered, that William Walker Atkinson recovered in the last century, and that Archangel Michael himself has been trying to remind you of for weeks through signs that you may be ignoring. That strange thought in the shower, that song that played right on time, that phrase someone said randomly that pierced you, that video that appeared out of nowhere. None of this is by chance. The law of assumption is the key that moves the universe. It says one simple and yet devastating thing. The state of consciousness in which you live is the destiny that forms before you. If you walk through life saying, I am poor, I am lonely, I am sick, I am abandoned, then the universe, which is faithful to the word that comes from within you, organizes reality around this I am. And Archangel Michael weeps because he sees children of heaven condemning themselves with their own tongue, with their own self-talk, without realizing they are creating exactly what they fear most. This is the reason for your exhaustion. It is not a lack of faith, it is an old program running in the background of your subconscious mind, a program of scarcity, of I don't deserve, of it always goes wrong for me. And this program, repeated in thought, in feeling, in internal conversation, is literally drawing your reality. And it is exactly here, at this point in our conversation, that I feel something moving. You did not arrive at this video by chance. There is a spiritual orchestration happening right now. Archangel Michael does not weep for nothing. He weeps before an intervention, before a turning point. And perhaps you are feeling it, a pressure in your chest, a strange urge to cry, a certainty that there is something greater pulling you. Many see this video. Few understand the calling. You are among the few. And if you have a family to protect, a soul to save, a whole life to rebuild, this calling has weight. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. It is called How to Know If You Are Saved at the End of Days, and it reveals spiritual layers that no video can fully deliver. The link is in the description right below and also pinned at the top of the comments. People who read it wrote to me saying they slept in peace for the first time in years, that they felt the divine presence again, that they recovered marriages, jobs, children who seemed lost. Do not ignore this moment. Content like this goes off the air for reasons you cannot imagine. If something inside you is vibrating now, write Amen. I accept the calling in the comments before continuing to watch. Now that you have made your decree of acceptance, I can take you to a deeper level of this truth. There is something called the astral plane. And no, it is not science fiction. It is the state in which your consciousness dwells when you internally assume the fulfillment of your desire. William Walker. Atkinson taught that everything you want already exists in the astral plane. That love you wait for, that healing you ask for, that prosperity that seems far away, that family peace you dream of, all of this is already ready, finished, complete. And the work is not to manufacture anything out there. The work is to enter the state of consciousness of the person who already has it. Think with me. How would you feel if that problem were already solved? How would you walk? How would you speak to your family at dinner? How would you sleep at night? How would you wake up tomorrow? That feeling, that way of being, that new I am, this is the astral plane. And when you inhabit this state with persistence, The material world has no choice. It reorganizes itself. People appear, doors open, phones ring. That which was impossible begins to move. Archangel Michael weeps because he sees people trying this path for one night, 2 days, a week, and giving up because the apparent reality has not yet changed. And he weeps because he knows the breakthrough was 3 days away. Perhaps 1 day, perhaps 1 hour. Persistence. This is the word he whispers in your ears. Persistence in the feeling, persistence in self-talk, persistence in the I am of the person you already are internally, even if the external scenario does not yet confirm it. And that is why I need to remind you now with an open soul. The digital book, How to Know If You Are Saved at the End of Days, was written precisely for this moment of weariness where most give up. It guides you through the crossing. The link is in the description and pinned at the top of the comments. Those whose family is at risk, those who feel this is the last attempt, cannot postpone this. Archangel Michael is waiting for your answer now. I will tell you something that few spiritual teachers say out loud. The greatest weapon of spiritual sabotage is not the enemy out there. It is your own self-talk. It is that quiet conversation that happens inside your head while you wash the dishes, while you drive in the traffic of New York or Los Angeles, while you try to sleep at 2 in the morning staring at the ceiling. This internal conversation is creating your world. Napoleon Hill wrote an entire book called The Power of the Subconscious precisely to show this. Everything you repeat inside becomes an order for your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind does not judge. It only obeys. It does not differentiate if you are talking about yourself, or if you are complaining about your husband, your wife, your child. It only records, and it only executes. Imagine a 47-year-old woman, mother of 2, working double shifts, watching the bills grow faster than her salary. Imagine her every night repeating, without realizing it, phrases like, "It will never change," "I always run out of money at the end of the month," "This is just my life, I wasn't born to have abundance." Each of these phrases is a decree. Each of these phrases is a prayer in reverse. And the universe, which is faithful to the law of assumption, organizes her life exactly like that. Not because the universe is punishing her, but because she herself is, without realizing it, signing this spiritual contract every day. Now imagine the turnaround. Imagine this same woman discovering what you are discovering now. Imagine her stopping, breathing, and starting to speak differently to herself. I am abundance. I am cared for by heaven. I am guided. I am embraced by invisible hands. My family is protected. My children grow in peace. My work prospers. The right doors open for me. Imagine her saying this not as a memorized phrase, but as a feeling, as a certainty, as if it were already true, because in the astral plane, it already is. This is the point Archangel Michael wants you to understand. Traditional prayer, the way many learned it, is a beggar's prayer. Lord, give me. Lord, help me. Lord, look at me. And this prayer has love, has faith, has heart, but it is structured in a place of lack. It starts from the I am someone who does not have, and the law of assumption responds exactly to that I am. The prayer that moves mountains, the prayer that the ancient mystics knew, is the prayer that starts from I am someone who has already received. It is the grateful prayer before the answer. It is faith operating before the miracle appears on the physical plane. Can you feel the difference? It is like the difference between someone waiting for the bus in the rain, cold, anxious, and someone already inside the warm bus, going home. It is another body. It is another posture. It is another state of consciousness. And it is exactly this that opens the door. There is a technique that William Walker Atkinson taught, and that Archangel Michael is asking you to practice starting tonight. It is called Bridge of Incidents. It works like this. Before sleeping, at that magical moment when your mind is sleepy but still conscious, you create a scene. A short, simple, real scene. A scene that implies your desire has already been fulfilled. It is not the scene of the desire itself. It is the scene of after. For example, you do not imagine winning the money. You imagine your child hugging you saying, "Mom, thank you for everything. Now everything is fine." You do not imagine the relationship starting. You imagine the two of you laughing on the couch on any given night, with a quiet intimacy, like those who have been together for a long time. You do not imagine the healing. You imagine your mother calling you saying, "Son, the doctor was impressed. Everything went well." You feel the scene. You inhabit the scene. You do not watch from the outside, you enter it and you fall asleep in it. This is the crucial point, falling asleep in the feeling of the fulfilled desire, because it is in this instant of transition between the conscious and the subconscious that the seed is planted in the most fertile soil that exists, your subconscious mind. And this mind, over the course of the following days and nights, begins to build the bridge of incidents. It begins to organize coincidences, meetings, ideas, opportunities, phone calls, messages, strange people on the way, books that appear, videos that emerge. All of this is the bridge of incidents taking you from the current state to the scene you assumed. And I need to stop now because what I am going to tell you next is so deep that many are not ready. But you are, I know you are, because you did not close this video. You are still here, and this in itself is already a sign. Archangel Michael does not allow an awakened soul to abandon a message like this in the middle. You are being guided at this very moment. Did you feel the shiver when I spoke of the bridge of incidents? Did you feel the weight leaving your chest? This is not a placebo. This is your spirit recognizing what it always knew. There is a responsibility coming your way, and it has a name. It may be protecting your family that is falling apart. It may be rebuilding someone who depends on you. It may be leaving a place where your soul is dying little by little. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. The book, How to Know If You Are Saved at the End of Days, deepens exactly what we are living here. With specific prayers, nightly techniques, organized daily decrees, and revelations about the signs that appear in the 7 days following for those who accept the calling. The link is in the description right below this video and also pinned at the top of the comments. Thousands have already returned to tell me stories that give chills. Reconciled marriages, children who came home, jobs that appeared out of nowhere, diagnoses that turned upside down. It is not magic. It is alignment. Time is short. This content may go off the air at any moment. Do not leave it for later. Go there now before another distraction makes this decision for you, and come back to finish watching this here with me. Let's go to the most delicate point of this conversation, because I know that many people watching now are in a painful place. Perhaps you are living what seems to be the worst moment of your life. Perhaps you are seeing your 20-year marriage crumble. Perhaps your child is involved with the wrong things, and you pray crying inside the bathroom so no one hears. Perhaps you have received a diagnosis that scared you. Perhaps you are unemployed in your 50s, feeling that the world no longer wants you. Perhaps you have a sadness stuck in your chest that not even you can explain. And Archangel Michael weeps precisely because of this, because he sees the size of your pain and knows that this pain is exactly the soil from which the greatest of transformations is born. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning of a rewrite. But for this rewrite to happen, you need to do one very difficult thing. You need to stop identifying your I am with the pain. Repeat with me now, calmly, without haste. I am not the problem. I am going through it. The problem is a temporary circumstance. The I am is eternal. The I am is divine. The I am is the spark of the universe within me. And this spark knows no scarcity, knows no disease, knows no abandonment, knows no lack. This spark knows only fullness. And when you identify with it, when you assume it as your true self, the rest begins to yield. This is the law of assumption at its deepest level. It is not just assuming that you have a new house. It is not just assuming that you are married again. It is assuming before anything else that you are a divine soul, loved, protected, guided, full. It is from this central I am that all other desires are ordered. Because a child of heaven recognized as a child of heaven does not need to beg for anything. They naturally receive what is theirs by spiritual right. Think of a scene. You go to a house where they treat you as a visitor. You sit on the edge of the couch. You ask permission to go to the bathroom. You do not open the fridge. You wait for them to offer water. Now think of another scene. You go to your mother's or grandmother's house. You open the fridge without thinking. You throw yourself on the couch. You shout, "Aunt, where is the remote?" Why the difference? Because in the first house, you are a visitor. In the second, you are family. Most people live the spiritual life as visitors, shy, asking permission, begging for crumbs. Archangel Michael weeps because he knows you are a child of the house. You do not need to ask for what is already yours. You only need to recognize that it is yours. And to recognize means to feel as a child, to walk as a child, to speak as a child, to decree as a child. I am cared for, I am blessed, I am prosperous, I am loved. My family is under the light. My days are organized by heaven. Everything that needs to reach me arrives at the right time. And here enters another layer that needs to be understood. Modern science, especially the study of the electromagnetic field of the heart, done by the Heart Math Institute, has shown that the human heart emits a magnetic field that can be measured meters away from the body. And this field changes completely depending on what you feel. When you feel fear, anger, scarcity, this field becomes chaotic, dissonant. When you feel gratitude, peace, certainty, this field becomes coherent, ordered, harmonic. And this coherent field literally affects the environment around you. It is not cheap mysticism. It is the science of consciousness. Quantum physics has for decades been showing that the observer influences the observed, that particles behave differently depending on who is looking. That reality is not a fixed thing out there. It is malleable. And who molds it? Consciousness, feeling, the internal state. That is why feeling is the secret. It is not poetry, it is not philosophy, it is not abstract theology. It is the functioning of the universe. When you combine ancient spiritual teaching with modern science of the heart and consciousness, you realize that the mystics, the prophets, and the archangels have always been right. Prayer was never about convincing the universe. It was about aligning your internal frequency with the reality you want to experience. It was about the I am emitted in the field of the heart in a coherent and persistent way. And this is where many people get stuck. Because we feel one thing for 10 minutes during prayer and then spend the whole day feeling the opposite. In the morning, I am abundance. In the afternoon, look at the bank balance and enter into despair. At night, watch soap operas, news, gossip, and absorb more scarcity. The field of the heart, which became coherent in those 10 minutes, becomes turbulent all day long. And then the manifestation does not happen. Not because the law failed, but because persistence was lacking. Persistence. This is the word that Archangel Michael is whispering right in the center of your spiritual ear at this very moment. Persistence in the feeling even when physical facts scream the opposite. Persistence in the new I am, even when the old one seems to dominate. Persistence in the revised self-talk, even when the old one wants to return. Persistence in the imagined scene before sleep, even when you see no movement for days. Because manifestation does not happen when you feel it once. It happens when you inhabit this feeling as home, as life, as truth. Napoleon Hill told the story of a woman who wanted to get married. She spent weeks before sleeping, imagining the ring on her finger, feeling the weight of the ring, seeing its shine in the light, looking at her hand and noticing the ring there. She did not imagine the man. She imagined the consequence, the ring, bridge of incidents, and in a few months she met, related to, and married a man she never would have imagined. Because she did not impose the how on the universe. She imposed only the final state. And the universe, free to create the path, created it. Have you already tried to impose the how? It has to be that person, it has to be that job, it has to be that money coming in exactly this way. And then it gets stuck. Because when you impose the how, you close the other 1,000 possible doors through which it could arrive. The law of assumption asks that you let go of the how and hold on only to the I am of the fulfilled desire. The universe takes care of the rest. The angels take care of the rest. The bridge of incidents forms, and Archangel Michael specifically, the one who carries the sword and protects the children of heaven, he operates at this frequency. He is the one who opens paths when the paths seem closed. He is the one who moves the right people to the right place. He is the one who whispers ideas during the shower, during the walk, during the moment of silence. But he needs one thing from you. He needs you to be tuned in. He needs your field to be coherent. He needs your consciousness to be in the state of consciousness of the blessed person and not the cursed person. And do you know what the paradox is? Many people consider themselves cursed precisely for carrying a lot of misdirected faith. Think about it. Oh, but my family always had difficulty. My mother suffered, my grandmother suffered, and I will suffer too. It is our family's cross. This is an assumption, this is a spiritual decision, this is an inherited I am, and Archangel Michael weeps because he knows you have the power now to break this chain, not with magic, not with anything external, with an internal decision, with a reorganization of self-talk, with a persistent choice to inhabit a new I am. I will teach you 3 practices now, simple practices that fit into your routine that you can start today, even this night. Note them mentally. Practice 1, the awakening of the I am. In the morning, even before picking up the phone, before coffee, still in bed with eyes closed, you repeat for 3 minutes, I am light, I am loved, I am guided, I am abundance, I am cared for, my family is under the protection of heaven. Today is a day of good surprises. And you do not repeat it like rote memorization. You repeat it, feeling it, smiling slightly, as if it were already reality. This is your daily decree of acceptance. Practice 2, the review of the day. At night before sleeping, instead of mentally reviewing everything that went wrong in the day, you review with corrections. That difficult conversation? You imagine it happening harmoniously. That bill? You imagine it being resolved with tranquility. That harsh look? You replace it with an affectionate look. You rewrite the day in your imagination. William Walker Atkinson called this revision, because your subconscious mind does not distinguish what happened physically from what you feel as real. And by revising, you rewrite records of the past and open a new future. Practice 3, the nightly bridge of incidents. At that sleepy moment before total sleep, you inhabit a short, simple scene of the desire already fulfilled. A single scene. You feel it. You fall asleep inside it. And you trust. You trust that during sleep, your subconscious mind is sowing the path. And it is. It always is. Neuroscience confirms it. The mystics always knew. I need to tell you something that will relieve you now. You do not need to do everything perfectly. You do not need to be a saint. You do not need to never feel fear again. You do not need to never have a bad day again. Persistence is not perfection. Persistence is returning. It is falling and getting back up. It is forgetting and remembering. It is complaining and correcting yourself. It is crying and rebuilding yourself. Each time you correct yourself, each time you re-choose the new I am, you are reinforcing the path. And Archangel Michael weeps with joy each time he sees you returning. He does not weep with sadness. He weeps with pride. He weeps because he sees you choosing the light even in the middle of the confusion. And there is one more thing that needs to be said. You are not alone in this process. As much as your life may seem lonely, as much as no one around you may seem to understand what you are living spiritually, no. There are thousands, right now, feeling exactly what you feel. Mothers who cry hidden, fathers who carry the world on their backs, women in their 40s feeling that everything needs to change, men in their 50s realizing that they lived for others and now want to live for themselves, all being awakened at the same time, all being called at the same time. This is a collective spiritual wave, and you are part of it. Archangel Michael weeps because he sees how many will hear this calling, and how many will, in a fright, return to the routine without acting. And he asks you, implores you, never give up. Even if tomorrow a bill comes that scares you, even if in 3 days bad news comes, even if in a week you feel that everything is the same. Persist, because persistence breaks the last layers of resistance, and when they break, your new reality begins to enter all at once. I will close this part with an image that may stay with you for the rest of the week. Imagine Archangel Michael, with his sword lowered, kneeling before you, with tears in his eyes. Not because he is weak, but because he loves you with a love that we do not even understand correctly. And he holds your hand, looks into your spiritual eyes and says, "Child, rise. Rise one last time. I am here. I take care of your fronts. I open your doors. But you need to decide to rise. You need to decide to inhabit the new I am. You need to decide to persist, and you decide. Here now, inside this video, inside this night, inside this day that this message reached you, you decide. You commit yourself spiritually. You assume. You inhabit. You persist. Remember the foundations that you carry with you from now on. Feeling is the secret. The I am is the key. The astral plane is where everything already exists. The bridge of incidence is how everything arrives. Self-talk is the design. Persistence is the seasoning. And the law of assumption is the structure of the universe that organizes all of this. You were not placed in this life by chance. You do not have this family by chance. You do not have these pains by chance. You are not seeing this video by chance. All of this is a gigantic spiritual orchestration, and you are in a phase of awakening. Honor this. Do not despise this moment. Do not trivialize this calling. Tonight before sleeping, do the exercise, create a scene, inhabit it, feel it, fall asleep in it, and trust. Tomorrow, upon waking, decree your new I am. Persist during the day, even when the old one wants to return. Review at night. Redo the scene. And thus, day after day, your life reorganizes itself from within, even before it reorganizes itself from the outside. And when the outside part begins to move, you will not be surprised. You will only say, I knew it. I was already living this from within. An Archangel Michael will be there, smiling, sword raised, paths opened, the right people arriving, signs everywhere, beautiful coincidences, painfully perfect synchronicities, phone calls that change everything, messages that turn the key, meetings that seem like fiction, because the bridge of incidence does not fail when the state of consciousness is maintained. And before I deliver the last part of this message to you, I want to remind you of something simple and profound. You are loved, even on your worst day, even in your worst version, even in your worst mistake. You are loved, and this love does not depend on you deserving it. This love exists before any merit. This love is your origin. This love is your destiny. And between origin and destiny, there is this walk that sometimes hurts, but that always, in the end, leads home. I need to tell you one more time, because I know you are alive in here, feeling every word. This message did not reach you by chance. Archangel Michael orchestrated this meeting, and he asks you one thing before the video ends. Do not leave here without taking the next step. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. How to Know If You Are Saved at the End of Days is the deepening of this message in all the layers that did not fit here completely, with specific prayers, guided nightly exercises, and revelations about the spiritual signs that appear in the first days after you accept the calling. The link is in the description right below this video and also pinned at the top of the comments. Go there now, before another distraction makes this decision for you. And in the comments, leave your acceptance registered. Write, Amen, I am guided, I never give up. This is your decree. And may Archangel Michael, who wept for you, now be able to smile with you. Persist, trust, and come back tomorrow to tell me the first sign that appeared.